was really able to live my dream in basketball and playing at the University of Kansas and in the NBA, but I really feel like I'm fulfilling the calling that God has for my life, by going into the full-time ministry and understanding that there's no amount of money or fame on the court that will be able to satisfy me more than the role that I'm in right now in helping others find Jesus Christ.
Wayne Simien grew up excelling in athletics. What began as playing a game just for fun turned into an important tool that would influence many aspects of his life.
I actually played all the sports, basketball, baseball, football, and actually my first love was fishing, something that my father and I and my grandfather and uncles, we did quite often. But then as I got older, I began to excel at basketball. I obviously began to grow tall pretty fast, hit a growth spurt there, and it's something that I decided to focus on once I got to high school, and was able to excel at that, and have really enjoyed playing the game ever since. Early on in my high school years, I was basically just living for myself and to play basketball. I grew up in a good Christian home with both my parents there and teaching me right from wrong, but really felt like it was impossible to be young and live for the Lord, and so I just lived to play basketball. And so, I began to excel at that and, won state championships and was a high school All-American, McDonald's All-American, and really that's where I put most of my effort and my time in excelling in my basketball career. I went to Catholic school from kindergarten through 7th grade and went to churches and different things like that. But really, never had a real understanding of what it meant to be a Christian or even what it looked like to be young and live for God. And so I really, had an understanding of what it meant to follow Jesus and to do right from wrong, but never really felt like I had the ability to do that in junior high and high school because of peer pressure and really because there was no young people that I saw living for God.
As a child growing up in Leavenworth, Kansas, Wayne Simien lived in the backyard of one of the most celebrated basketball schools in the country, the University of Kansas.
The only university that I've ever grown up cheering for, and always had a dream and aspiration to be able to play there one day. And I can remember going to the University of Kansas basketball camp since the 6th grade. And then as I began to excel in my high school career, really started to become more and more of a reality of possibly being able to play there. My high school coach is an alumni at KU. My summer league coach actually coached at KU for a certain time. And so it was pretty much a certainty that if I had the skills to get there, that's where I would go play. And so, that came to fruition and was awarded a scholarship to go play there under Coach Roy Williams for the first 2 years, and then was able to play for Bill Self my junior and senior year, and it was a really great experience.
An All-American performance this afternoon, 71-54.
There was never any pressure, playing close to home. It was actually a joy and a delight to have my parents and my friends and family be able to come and watch me play, being able to come home on the weekends, being able to have a lot of people here in my hometown in Leavenworth, come to the games and say how proud they were of me. So there was never any pressure that I felt, but was just always glad that I had the opportunity to stay close and be able to play in front of the people and the fans that I love.
As a sophomore at KU, Wayne Simien seemed to not have a worry in the world. He was the proverbial big man on campus with all the worldly advantages that come along with that distinction. Despite all of his success on the court, Wayne felt something was missing in his life.
I became a Christian going into my junior year, July 12, 2003, and basically leading up to that, I only lived for myself in basketball. And when I got to the University of Kansas, I basically had everything that the world said should make you happy. We were a successful basketball team, back-to-back Final Fours. I was playing well. I was big man on campus. I had an NBA future waiting for me. I had access to all the drugs and the girls and the alcohol that you could pretty much want. Had all those things, but was really left unfulfilled. And so I began to look for something greater to live for than just myself and just basketball. And I found that thing in the kingdom of God and following after Jesus Christ. And so I made that commitment in July 12, 2003 to really become a Christian as a man, making my own decision. And during that time, there was a transformation that took place in my life from the inside out that really changed my life. There was definitely a void that was left, in pursuing those things that I would hope would fulfill me, whether it was in success on the court or, having a reputation, of being a good player and a good person. But really pursuing just God or pursuing myself in basketball really left me living a life of fear and insecurity. I was always afraid of getting hurt and ending my career. I was afraid of what other people thought about me. I was insecure about what the newspapers would write about me. I was insecure about how I would perform on the court. And that's not how God called us to live. And so when I had that encounter with Jesus Christ in 2003 and chose to follow him, I found that he would later take that fear and replace it with a joy and peace in him. And that he would later take that insecurity that I had and replace it with an identity as being his son. That it didn't matter if I scored 30 points or if I scored no points. That either way, if I did everything with my whole heart as unto him, that he would be pleased with me. And so those are the types of things that took place in my life that really transformed me.
They look to Simien, who breaks to the goal. Aaron saw him, got him the ball, and Wayne flushed it.
There's so many people that really took place, that were around me in my life to help me in that transition. There were a group of people on the campus at the University of Kansas that really helped me understand, what it meant to be a Christian. That discipled me, that taught me how to read my Bible, that taught me how to pray, that taught me how to serve others. And then as I began to grow on and excel in my career and even go on to the NBA, there were people around me who would hold me accountable, who would challenge me in my faith and would help me grow. And one of those mentors is on your show, AC Green, who's a dear, dear friend and mentor of mine, and having conversations with him throughout my college career. And even as I was going on into my professional career, I can specifically remember having those long 16-day road trips on the West Coast. And every time we would go to Los Angeles, AC Green would come by the hotel, pick me up, take me out to dinner. Even sometimes I'd stay at his house just so I wouldn't have to stay in the hotel by myself. And so there was a number of people around me, and I'm so thankful for that. But it's just so important to make sure that you surround yourself with strong men and women of God who were going to encourage you to pursue godliness.
For a Christian athlete, going from a small town in Kansas where life is simple to a big city can make it difficult, especially with all the fame that you get as a player in professional basketball. Wayne did, however, take all that he learned with him into the NBA, making that platform one he could use to let others know about Jesus Christ.
It was a great feeling being able to hear my name called by Commissioner David Stern. It had always been a dream of mine to be able to play in the NBA. Understanding that the percentages of college players or basketball players in general is so small, being able to play at that level. But more so than that, I was excited to be able to steward that platform for the glory of God. There aren't a lot of Christians in professional sports, professional athletics, and I was really excited to be able to go into that arena, into that area, and to be able to be a light for him. And it's actually one of the reasons why I chose to stay my senior year in college. I had the opportunity to leave early and go pro my junior year, but wanted to stay in college and make sure that I continue to grow in my faith and to graduate and to be discipled so that I would be prepared to go to a city like Miami, being single, being 22 years old, and being able to handle the types of pressures that would be thrown at me being a young NBA player.
Oh, Wayne Simien! How about the...
Well, was able to have a good career in the NBA. We won the World Championship in 2006 with the Miami Heat, and had an opportunity to go overseas and play for a little bit. And I really enjoyed basketball, enjoyed playing, but I really had more of a desire to see people's lives impacted by the gospel of Jesus Christ, to see people's lives drastically changed like my life was changed, more so than just putting the basketball in the hoop to entertain people, more so than just to collect a check. And, when I had that desire and as it began to grow in my heart these last several years, really didn't have a desire to play basketball anymore, but really had a desire to serve and to help lead people to Jesus Christ. And so I found that to be more valuable than any amount of fame on the basketball court or even a basketball career for that matter. And so that's why I decided to retire. Okay, yesterday during our ministry time, we talked about the definition of greatness, okay? Not being wrapped up in your athletic achievements or your individual accomplishments. Call to Greatness is something that we started in 2007 and while I was still playing. And it just started out as being a basketball camp. You know, I went to basketball camps as a kid and I coached with them in college and professionally. And there was a KU legend who was hosting a basketball camp in Lawrence, and he was no longer able to have that. And so he asked me if, hey, do you want to host this basketball camp? And I said, absolutely. You know, I'd always had a desire to do that. But then as soon as I, you know, took on that responsibility, I actually started to have dreams and visions of, man, what this could really be stewarded for the glory of God. And God told me that he wanted that, and I said, it's yours. And so we're just trying to sow biblical truths, okay, into their life, all right, in the form of sports, because they're really able to understand sports in this day and age culture. And then as they get older into junior high and high school and even into college, then that's when the real discipleship process starts. We're able to have built a relationship with these kids over the years, have access to them, have Bible studies and invite them to events and things like that. And so that's just how we try to use athletics to really bridge the gap.
Toward that lane area, plays in Simien.
Something that we're hoping to accomplish is really try to change the sports culture, particularly at a youth level. One of the things that I've seen here in the past that's really burdened my heart for youth athletics is the win-at-all-cost mentality. I really believe like that has no place in youth athletics. Particularly, you know, under a certain age, winning is important. You know, I do understand that, but there's so much more to be gained from sports than just wins and losses, than just accomplishments. And you know, it's funny. In my home, in a trophy case, I've got the scripture verse in Timothy over that, and it says that that physical training is of some value, but godliness has value in every way. And so, yes, there's some value from sports and from winning and being successful there, but man, there's an extra sense of value, man, that comes from godliness. And that's one of the things that we want to see youth athletes pursue just as hard as they're pursuing that greatness on the court.
Most athletes stay in professional sports until performance or injury becomes an issue. Not for Wayne Simien, who saw a different exit, leading him to a higher calling than just a second championship.
I don't miss it at all. You know, it's funny, my former team, the Miami Heat, just came in town a few weeks back, and they had a preseason game here, and some of the same coaches and teammates are still there, and so I went back to watch them. And as I was going into the game, I was a little nervous. Man, is this going to get the juices kind of flowing again? Is this going to make me want to come out of retirement and kind of Brett Favre it a little bit? But man, once I got there, you know, there was nothing there, nothing left in the tank. Really gave me an appreciation for being able to play at that level, but I'm so happy and so content with what I'm doing right now in the ministry. And even as I'm still close with the University of Kansas basketball program, you know, chaplain for the men's team, really help out with a lot of those guys there. I don't miss it. You know, every time I stepped on the court, particularly my junior and senior year after I became a Christian, I gave it every single thing I had for the glory of God. And I don't have any regrets or ever want to turn back. And I'm so happy with what I'm doing now that I don't miss basketball. And, I don't see myself coming out of retirement or going back. In thoughts of the legacy that I want to leave, I don't necessarily want to be remembered for, my performance on the court, the points scored, the rebounds, or the individual awards or the championship teams that I was on. But really would like to be remembered as someone who had a heart for God and someone who had a heart to see other people's lives transformed by Jesus Christ. And, that's, what I'm doing right now through Call to Greatness and in partnering with other ministries across the country and even nationally and worldwide. And so, that's what I'd like my legacy to be. You know, even remember in 2 Timothy 2:2, where it talks about, man, entrusting, you know, what God has entrusted to me to other faithful men. You know, that's just what I really have a heart to do, to minister, to disciple people, to share the gospel, to coach. And so that's what I hope my legacy will be, you know, far greater than my athletic career, but really just someone who had a heart for God and a heart for other people.
Eddie Sutton, then will KU to get on a run.
Yes. Now, you're intimidating because very few people are born with great intelligence, speed, agility, athletic skills that are unbelievable, and a heart like you have for people and for God. You're all in one package. How do you stay humble?
I thought you were talking about somebody else. You just think of how good God is. You think of how good God is and, you know, how little we are in the sight of God. And, you know, we're just here for his purpose. And that's all I constantly think about.
Brad, you've done so much. Last year you were injured, and yet you came back, and they needed you so much in the playoffs. You have been a great quarterback, a wide receiver. You've done everything on the field. Punt returns. I mean, what haven't you done on the field?
I haven't played offensive line. I don't plan on it yet. Man, I'm just grateful to have the opportunity to contribute to a football team, and being on the team like the New York Jets with the kind of character we have, it's an amazing experience.
Yeah. Now, when did you get started in football? How young were you?
I was about 6 years old. I was 6, and my mother and my father got divorced, and my mom didn't want us to be soft. Me and my brother, she said, "You're not going to be soft little boys, you know, running around here. So get out on that field." And she just threw us out there, and you know, we got whooped. You know, we got whooped a lot, got hit a lot, but it made us tough, and it made us into the men that we are today.
Now, when you were young, the pee-wee football and on up the ladder, were you playing all the different positions?
No, I just played quarterback. I've been a quarterback my entire life, even into college. God blessed me in college, you know, to do some great things for him. And when I got to the NFL, they asked me to switch positions and, you know, do a little bit of quarterback. And, you know, it was a very humbling experience. You know, when you're the trigger man and you get asked to do something else, you know, that's not quite, you know, being the trigger man. But you realize how much it is, how important it is to be humble and have a common goal.
I had a couple of trophies in my life, one on one side of the room, one on the other. I read your list of trophies. It was like a thick book. How did you even get in your bedroom with all those trophies?
Oh, no. It was, you know, I really don't even know, you know. It was got a lot of accolades and a lot of, you know, Heisman talk in college, a lot of, you know, player of the year and this and that, and broke a couple records in the NFL so far. But it's just never been about that to me. It's always been about the team secondly, but it's always been about God first. Always been about God, putting him first, building him a platform, whether it's me talking or if somebody can say, you know, he lives his life to give glory to God, and somebody else can step on that platform. I don't care. I just want God to be glorified in his kingdom, to be raised up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Now, what's it like? You've done so much on the field, including being a wide receiver. And do you ever get a little edgy when you're hearing those footsteps coming and you're about to catch that ball? What's it like?
I love it. I guess some people where God made them for it, and I guess that's me. I love the competition. I like getting hit, and I love giving the hits more. But you just get used to it. You learn how to fall. You learn how to take a hit. So, you know, it's not really a concern.
Yeah. When did Jesus come in your life?
I was raised in the church. My mother would take my family, my brothers and my sister, and take us to church, and we would be there all day, all week. I was the church kid, you know, and not until I got to college. You know, I would go to church, go on Tuesday. I would go to all the Bible studies, do all this, and I didn't know God. You can be in church and not know God, and it was amazing. And I had a roommate of mine that he would be in his word. He's a pastor's son, and he would be in his word, and he'd be reading at night, and that's something I wasn't doing. And like, how can I claim to be a Christian? I don't even know what God is saying that I can have or what I can do. So at that point, it became more to me. God became more real to me, and it's taken off from there.
So you actually had the experience as a youth being a child of the church, but Christ had never come in your heart till the college days.
Yeah, I was baptized and, filled with the Holy Spirit at a very young age. I think it was 11 years old. Bishop Wagner, the Honorable Bishop Wagner was my pastor in Youngstown, Ohio. Calvary, give you a shout out. He told me to do it last time. And he's a father to me. And, even with all that, I still didn't know. I still didn't grasp it until I went through some things, until, you get the whole, you lose a game as a quarterback, the world comes down on you, and it was some dark times. Yeah. And that's when I really realized how good God is and, what I'm here for.
Now, what's it like? High school, you were just tearing up the state and everything. You get into college, and you're still doing it. Then you're drafted 4th round with the Jets, and you're coming into a whole new avenue of talent. Now, what was that like to see people that you thought, man, I'm good, but he is really good?
Yeah. From Brett Favre, we played with Brett Favre a year ago, and to see this guy growing up playing, and I used to play with him on a video game. I'm like, man, this is big. But God, never put you in a situation, doesn't give you the strength or the power to do it, and you just realize that you belong where you are. No matter what field it is, God will give you the strength to accomplish whatever He sent you for.
I like that. You belong where you are. It's like our best moments may be the key to who we really are. Right. Not our bad moments, but our best moments where we excel. Yeah.
God wants the best for us. He didn't come, He didn't die, He didn't go through all that pain and agony for us to be failures or be defeated. He came that we might have life and abundant life, and that's in every aspect. And we need to tell more people. People need to hear the good news, the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yes. Do you ever, when you're out there and you're in a tough quarter and you really got to get some things done, do you ever cheat a little and pray in the Spirit?
Oh, yeah. All the time. All the time. I'd be about to take the snap, I'd hand the ball off and say, in Jesus' name, you take it. And it was a lot of 4th and 1s, a lot of 3rd and 1s. I'm handing it to the back and saying, God, you do this. I don't know if we can do it in our own strength. And, He's come through. He didn't always come through, but He comes through a lot of times.
That is great. Well, He sure came through in the playoffs, and I think it puts you in a place, no matter who's drafted this year, you're a part of that team, a vital part. And do you think the Jets can do it?
Absolutely.
Oh,
no
okay.
doubt. We got
all right.
Yeah, no doubt about it. There's not a doubt in my mind. Y'all pray for us. We got a lot of additions this year, a lot of great players from Super Bowl caliber teams that are coming in that's going to come join us to try to help us reach our goal, and I think we can do it.
Now, along with your regimen of the Word every day and learning that Word and growing in it and drawing strength from prayer, what do you do in terms of nutrition? Now, you're in excellent physical condition. Do you have any secrets?
Eat right and work hard. That's it.
Now, when you
now I don't always eat right either, but
I
just work hard.
That's what I want to hear. We all need to hear the truth of this. In other words, you can be at peak performance, but you may cheat a little once in a while.
You don't know how many guys in our locker room eating fried chicken before the games.
Oh,
macaroni. Oh, yeah, we get it in. We get it in. Believe it. But it's just some things is comfort food. Some things so good. It just helps you get in a relaxed atmosphere. But we shouldn't be eating them. We should be eating grilled chicken or something like that.
Now, what do you do to enhance that fellowship? Do you guys that are Christians together? Do you do some social things?
Absolutely, and we don't segregate ourselves from the guys who we don't think are saved. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. If we sit, in our little corner over here as 3 or 4 guys, and we just talk about what they're not doing, or just talk about the Word and look like Bible nerds all the time. Yeah. What's good is that doing?
Sure.
God didn't give His Word for that. Yeah. To sit in our churches and sit in our little groups and preach to each other. Yeah. He sent it to go out. He sent us to go out. So we take fishing trips. We go out. We go over to guys' houses and just live a life. Let them know that it's not a boring life. It's not. Yeah. You can do anything that you want to do. Have fun and enjoy life. With God.
Yeah. Well, the world doesn't know that yet about the church. No. They think we are on the sidelines in our little prayer group with our little own Christianese. Yeah. And you're out there right in the middle of the world on the gridiron and having to live that every day at practice, and you're seeing God come through. Now, what do you say to the many millions of kids in America and now across the world who have a dream to be an athlete? What is it like to get into this industry, into the business of sports?
Well, I can only speak from personal experience. And my whole life, growing up, I loved to play the game. And from Little League to high school to college, it's always been about the game, always been about perfecting my craft and being the best I can be and, you know, beating the next guy. I didn't expect to be drafted. I didn't, you know, that wasn't my goal. My goal wasn't to be, you know, an NFL player. That wasn't, my goal was to be the best, you know, to maximize the gift that God gave me. And when I got to the NFL, it's the same thing. It's to be the best. And, you know, if you're a young kid and you're aspiring to be a professional in anything, especially sports, don't do it for money or don't do it for, you know, attention or fame. Do it because you love it. Do it because you have a heart and a passion for it.
Yeah, that's so true. With all of life, if we could see that what we do, no matter how serious it is, it's really a game if we love it.
Oh, yeah.
And enjoy the game of life.
Yeah.
So how can we do that if we're not playing football?
That's your job.
All right, well, maybe we'll change places this season. You take the church and I'll go to the Jets. Maybe we can do that.
I'll just stay in the
Poor
place
Jets.
God asked me.
All right. Listen, when Jesus came in your heart and you had that baptism of the Holy Spirit, a lot of people feel today this thing of glossolalia or speaking in tongues is for some esoteric group way out there in the cosmos, but it's a real experience, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a real experience. I even brought some of my teammates, and they came to church, and they were blessed to be baptized and receive that gift. And they had been, you know, the most hardcore, drugs, sex, all of that stuff. And to see the transformation, it's not just the tongues, it's what works on the inside of you, and you can just see it in their face. When we left, even to this day, it's the difference. It makes a difference in life, and I tell them they got to have it. My favorite scripture, and I've known it since I was a kid. First started football, our football team, they gave me this scripture. It's Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, and that's brought me all the way here, and it's going to take me until I die. That faith in God conquers everything. God is real. God is love. God is. If God is for us, He is so much more than the world against us. And you take it, you hear it at first, and then when you start to believe it and realize it, it takes you to another level. Yeah. And I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get to heaven. So there's a lot of things going on out there, and I'm not even gonna lie, and it's very tempting. Yeah. Very tempting. You have women throwing. I mean, literally just offering themselves to guys on the team. Yeah. Guys with business deals and offering millions of dollars to do something that may not be the most ethical thing to do. But it just comes back to your convictions and your character, how you were raised, what we were taught, and that's what we come back to. Raise up a child in the way he should go. He's old, he won't depart.